Your baby just fell. Before a tear comes, before any sound, something strange happens. Their whole body freezes, and their eyes snap straight to one face in the room. It's not always the face you'd expect. Researchers have a name for that half-second pause, and once you understand it, you'll never watch your baby stumble the same way again. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your baby is doing in that frozen half-second, and why, for many families, that face belongs to dad. Here's the moment. Slow down. Your baby trips, or a door slams, or a dog barks too close. There's a beat, often less than a second, before any reaction shows up. Most parents assume that pause is just baby catching up to what happened. But developmental researchers have spent decades filming this moment, and it turns out the pause has a job. In that beat, your baby isn't processing the fall. They're processing you, scanning your face for one piece of information. Is this actually dangerous? Or is it nothing at all? This is called social referencing, first proven in a famous 1985 study using something researchers called a visual cliff, a table with a sudden harmless drop-off built into the glass. Crawling babies were placed at the edge. Every time, before deciding whether to cross, they looked up at their caregiver's face, not down at the drop, not at their hands. If the caregiver's face showed fear, almost no baby crossed. If the caregiver's face stayed calm and encouraging, most babies crossed without hesitation. The drop-off never changed, only the face did. That's the whole discovery. Your baby doesn't just feel their own fear, they borrow yours. Your face is, quite literally, the instrument they use to measure how scared to be. So when your baby bonks their head on the coffee table and freezes for that half-second, they aren't deciding how much it hurts. They're deciding how much it's allowed to hurt. And that decision depends entirely on whichever face they land on first. Here's where it gets interesting, because in a lot of households, that face is dad's. One honest caveat first. No study says babies universally prefer checking a father's face. What research does show is a real, average difference in how fathers and mothers tend to react. Developmental psychologist Daniel Paquette researched what he called the activation relationship, the observation that fathers, on average, engage children through play that's slightly riskier, slightly rougher, slightly more unpredictable. That pattern of engagement seems to train something specific in fathers too, a caregiving reflex that reacts to small bumps and scares with a touch more composure, a touch less alarm. It's not that fathers love less, or notice less, or care less. It's that fathers' nervous systems have been calibrated, through repeated rough and tumble play, to treat minor mishaps as more routine. And a calm face, remember, is exactly the signal your baby's social referencing system is built to detect. Calm face equals, this is fine. Fine equals, no need to fully panic. So in the half-second after a stumble, if the calmest face happens to be dad's, your baby's threat assessment system reads that calm, downgrades the danger, and often shrugs the fall off. Parents notice this constantly and misread it. She barely cries when her dad's around. It's not that dad handles it better. It's a live biological measurement, running in real time. This same mechanism explains why the exact same fall can produce two different reactions, depending only on which parent is standing closest when it happens. Nothing else has changed at all, which raises a slightly uncomfortable question, one this video won't dodge. If a calm face shrinks the fear, what happens when the nearest face is a worried one instead? Here's the part most dad content skips. If you're a mom watching this and feeling a small sting right now, hold on, because the science protects you completely here too. A more alert, more protective reaction to your baby's fall isn't a flaw. Evolutionarily, heightened caregiver vigilance is exactly what's kept human infants alive for hundreds of thousands of years. And there's a second layer researchers point to. Babies don't just reference the calmest face. They also seek out whichever caregiver represents their deepest, total sense of safety, usually mom. That's why so many babies hold it together beautifully in public, at daycare, at grandma's, and then completely fall apart the second they're back in their mother's arms at pickup. Psychologists call this the safe base collapse. It isn't a sign something's wrong. It's the opposite. It's proof your baby trusts you enough to stop performing composure and let go. So the honest picture isn't, dad calms them, mom doesn't. It's that different attachment figures serve different emotional jobs, and your baby is smart enough to use both correctly. One face teaches the nervous system, this is survivable, keep moving. The other face teaches the nervous system, you never have to pretend here. Neither job is bigger than the other. A baby who only ever got the calm it's fine message would learn to suppress real pain. A baby who only ever got total release would never learn resilience either. What your baby actually needs is exactly what most two-parent households already accidentally provide. One nervous system calibrated toward, you're okay. and one calibrated toward "you're always safe to fall apart." Both are forms of love. Both are doing real, measurable work inside a developing brain. Neither parent is winning. Your baby, quite literally, could not build resilience without both. So what is all this split-second face-checking actually building long-term? Researchers who study social referencing call it the actual foundation of something bigger: emotional regulation itself. Every single time your baby checks a face and gets an accurate read, calm when it's actually fine, concern when it's serious, they're calibrating their own internal alarm system. Do this thousands of times across the first 3 years, and you get a child who can tell the difference between a scraped knee and a real emergency. That's not small. Kids who never got to calibrate against a calm face sometimes grow into adults who catastrophize small setbacks because nobody showed their nervous system what "this is fine" looks like. And kids who never got the total release face sometimes grow into adults who can't ask for help because nobody ever showed them what "you're allowed to fall apart" looks like. This is why researchers increasingly describe healthy childhood attachment not as one bond, but as a system. Multiple caregivers, each contributing a different calibration to the same developing brain. Your baby isn't confused about who to run to. They are running an extremely fast, extremely accurate assessment of exactly which kind of help this moment calls for, every single time. That half-second freeze you've watched 100 times isn't hesitation at all. It's one of the most sophisticated pieces of social computation the human brain will ever perform. And it's happening on a face that's inches from yours, dozens of times a day, in moments so small, most parents never register them as important. Here's why that changes things. If you're a dad watching this, here's the practical piece. Your calm face isn't neutral. It is an active ingredient in your baby's development, every single time they check it. You don't need to fake calm you don't feel. Babies read genuine affect, not performance. But you can notice that your natural, grounded reaction is doing real developmental work. Next time your baby takes a tumble and looks at you, that look isn't nothing. It's a nervous system asking a direct question, and your face is the answer key. If you're a mom watching this, here's yours. That moment when your baby saves the real meltdown just for you isn't your baby being harder on you. It's the opposite entirely. It means you are the place your baby's body has decided is safe enough to stop holding it together. Researchers consider that one of the strongest signs of secure attachment. Neither reaction needs to change. Neither parent needs to try to become the other. The system isn't broken when it looks unequal in any single moment. It's designed that way. What actually matters, according to the research, isn't matching each other's style. It's consistency. The same calm dad, the same safe mom, so the baby's calibration stays reliable over time. Inconsistency is what confuses a developing nervous system. A calm face one day and a panicked one the next from one person, with no pattern the baby can learn from. Steadiness is the real gift here, far more than which parent's face gets checked first on any given Tuesday. That part was honestly never even the point. So the next time your baby falls, freezes, and locks eyes with dad instead of you, or with you instead of dad, you know what's happening in that half second. It's not favoritism. It's not a verdict on who's the better parent. It's a fast, elegant piece of biology borrowed from a study about babies crawling toward a glass table. Your baby is running the most sophisticated threat assessment software on Earth, and they built it entirely out of thousands of tiny moments, just like this one, using your actual face. Every calm reaction you've given, every time you scooped them up without panic, every time you let them fall apart in your arms, all of it recorded, and it's used. You are not just comforting your baby in these moments. You are the instrument they will use to measure fear, safety, and resilience for the rest of their life. So tonight, or tomorrow, when the inevitable bump or scare happens, try something small. Notice your own face in that half second. Notice what information you're actually about to hand them. You don't have to perform calm you don't feel. And you don't have to hide real concern either. Just know that your face is never neutral to them. It is data. It is instruction. It is, in the most literal biological sense, part of how your baby is learning to survive their emotions, one small fall at a time. That's the real answer to why your baby reaches for one face first. Not favoritism, not love measured and ranked. Just a baby doing science, using the people who love them. If this changed how you'll see even your baby's next small stumble, you're exactly who this channel is for. We decode moments like this every single week. Subscribe if you want the next one, because your baby is running dozens of these tiny, invisible calculations every single day, And most parents never learn to see even one. If tonight is a bedtime night, remember, the story you tell them can be part of this system too. Calm, safe, consistent, built just for them, every single night. Understand what your baby can't yet say. That's truly the whole channel. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you and your baby in the next one.